first syntax. Syntax one is just take the square brackets expression for item in one collection. Yeah, any collection. Now the second syntax is we can also include some condition. So expression for same thing here, item in some collection, if item some expression, some condition with the item, only when the condition is satisfied the item is selected, otherwise the item is not going to be selected. So for example here, if I take this, if I take a set of numbers, I'll take one more list here. So list L1 equals to I'll say range 10 to 25. I'll convert into list. Then I'll print the list. So I'm getting the list now. I want to find square of the number. So suppose L squares. So the first syntax we can use here, this I think we have already taken this kind of example for item in L1. So it gives so we'll print this, print L squares. So it is giving squares of all. Now I want squares of only odd numbers. So I can take the same condition here. I can take this and I can have, like I can say if item %2 equals to 1. Now it will give only odd numbers square. So odd number square. So if I say print L squares odd, so it will give. So 11 square, it is giving 13 square. So it is giving squares of only odd numbers. So you can have some kind of condition involved. So this is the expression to generate the new list, and this is the condition to select the items. This is used to this condition is used to select the items. Now we'll take one question here. It is given in earlier some placement drives. So I'll choose that question. So this is the one. The first one requires some more concept. So I'll give the first one little later. So here write a program to print all the leaders in the array. An element is leader if it is greater than all the elements to its right side. Last element is automatically a leader. So if this is the actually, if this is the data sample data given, this is the output. Now if I take, we have to identify the leader. an element is leader. Suppose if I take 16, it is considered as leader if it is greater than all the elements right side to it. So 16 cannot be greater than, it is not leader because there is 19 which is greater than 16. So 19 is greater than all, so 19 is leader. 8 is greater than all right side. So 8 will also be considered as leader. Anyhow, the last element will be automatically considered as a leader. So this is the question, and we'll take this as question in. So if I take this question, this is the question, and we'll continue this. And here, what is sample input is this one. This is the sample input. Sample input. Now output is 19, 8, 3. So if a number is considered as leader, if it is greater than all the elements right side to it. So that's why 19 is leader, 16 is not leader because it is not greater than all elements right side to it. 4 cannot be, 3 cannot be, but 8 can be. And 3 is the last item. This 3 is the last item. So it is a leader. Now this we'll do it first in without comprehension. We'll do it. We'll do it without comprehension. So I'll take this. So without comprehension, what we can do is I'll take this input. I'll take this. So list LST equals to. So I have created this. Then what I have to do is for. I'll take for. So what I'll do here is the logic. What I'm going to do is, otherwise I'll write it. Then I'll tell you. I in range length of LST minus 1. I'll take leaders equals to this empty list. Then I'll say if LST I is greater than, so it should be greater than all the elements right side to it. So how to find right side element? So ith the elements right side to ith element is I plus 1. So if I take this, so if I take, I'll explain this after completing. If it is greater than all the elements present right side to it. So instead of checking all the elements greater than all the elements right side to it, what I can do is simply I'll find maximum of all the elements right side to it and check whether the ith element is greater than that. In that case, it will be a leader. So I'll say leaders append LSTI. So this is the logic without comprehension. I'll say print. Anyhow, the last one is anyhow the leader. So I'll say I have to append the last one. So leaders dot append LST minus 1. Last one will be anyhow added. So I'll print it. So print leaders. So I'll execute this. So we are getting the correct result. Now I'll explain the logic here. So here what I am doing is I'm taking this I starting from 0. So this is 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm taking ith element. First I is 0. So ith element if I take, I'm taking 16. Now maximum of LST I plus 1. So when I take LST 1 means take all the elements from 1 means this 0th element is excluded. So that means I'm considering all the elements right side to I. So in this maximum, so this I'm getting 16. In this maximum is 19. So 16 greater than 19 false. So it is not going to be appended. That is when I equals to 0. When I equals to 1, then this is 19. We are going to take 19. So this is 19. LSTI is 19. Now LST I plus 1 is from 2. From 2 means I'll get remaining. So in this maximum is 8. 19 is greater than 8. So 19 is added to the leaders. 19 is added to leaders. Then I is 2. So when I is 2, this is 4. When I is 2, this is 4. And I'm taking the remaining. In this maximum is 8. So 4 is not greater than 8. So it is not included. This is the logic. So finally it gives the leaders. So it gives the leaders whichever item is greater than the greater than all remaining items right side to it, then it is a leader, and last item is anyhow leader. So I'm adding last item. This is last item automatically added, then it is printed. So this is the logic without comprehension. Now if I use comprehension here, this is one question given in some placement drive. I think Infosys, I don't remember exactly. So with comprehension, if we want to do it, we can do it quickly and efficiently with comprehension. I'll write this. So I'll take this same thing. I'll take this and I'll modify it to comprehension. So here I don't require this. I'll take leaders and this this is the expression. I'll keep it. So this is equals to expression. This is the result of selected item. So I'll take this and keep it here. Then this is for, I'll take not, I'll just modify it. Instead of this, I'll say, okay, I'll take the same thing. I'll take this one, not this one. I'll take this and I'll add it here. Then I'll keep this statement. So this is how the normal loop is converted into so this is the comprehension. Now we'll check whether we are getting correct result or not. So we're getting the correct result. So I'm taking LSTI for I in range So I'm last, I'm not including because there is no other element further. So I'm choosing the element only if that element is greater than remaining element, maximum of remaining elements. So suppose if I change this to, if I change this to 12, 12, then I'll also get 12. Now, if I change this to 13, then I'll get 16, 13, 3. 16, 13, 3 I'll get. Suppose if I write this as 21, then I'll get only 21. So only 21 I'll get. So the required result we are getting here. So this is how we apply comprehension. Comprehension surely works faster than faster than the normal way of doing it, because I told you it exploits the hardware to the maximum extent possible. It is the feature added in Python to exploit the resources to the maximum possible extent. Now I'll take one more example here. I'll take some strings like LST. I'll take here something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I'll take this. Now I want to find the length of each string into separate list. So I'll say LST length. So I'll create a list here using comprehension. So len item for item in LST. So this is the simple logic. So len item in the LST. So this will give me the lengths of all the strings. So print, when I take print LST len, I think I have to exclude this. LST len. Sorry, spelling mistake here. So 1 is 3, 2 is 3, 3 is 5, 4 is 4, 5 is 4. So the lengths I'm getting. Now I want lengths. I'll take one more here. Take 11. $12. So I want lengths which are greater than 4 and less than 7. So if I take this, just I'll take this length 2. I'll take here. Now what I'll do is, if 4 less than length of item less than 7, so it will pick the words, length of the words which are having length greater than 4 but less than 7. So when I say print len2, so it is giving only 2. So 7 is 5, so it is giving that, and then 5, 6, 11 is 6. 4 less than length item less than 7. 5, 5 it is giving for item in LST. Sorry, I had to execute this again. here one mistake. LST. So I've executed. After adding, I have not executed. Now I'll get correct result. So I'll get 556. 556 is 3 is 5. So I'm getting because greater than 4. Then 7 is 5. So I'm getting that. Then 11 is 6. I'm getting it. 12 is greater than 7. We will not get it. Sorry, it is not less than 7. It is exactly 7. So we are not getting. So we are getting 556. So this is how we can build the comprehension, list comprehension. And the set comprehension is almost similar. Only thing is we have to use the symbol set. The instead of square brackets, you give the symbol flower brackets. I'll get set comprehension. So that is the change we have to make. Otherwise, it is like the dictionary comprehension is little different. So otherwise, it is same as that. So if I take the set comprehension. I'll take this and copy here. So if I want set here, just SCT, but duplicate items will be eliminated. So here duplicate items will be eliminated. So I'll take some other example. Like I'll take this list. I'll take this list L1. I'll take this list. So I'll take set. This is S1 equals to. I can equals to use flower brackets. Item into item for I in for item in L1. So I'll get just a set. So I'm getting the set as a comprehension, but the only thing is the order is not followed. So in some order it will give, but it is giving the result. So I'm taking the values from a range 11 to 25. So 11 to 25, I think 24 it will give. So 11 to 10 to 24, 10 to 24. So we're getting this, and I'll filter it like if item is greater than 50. So now I'll get only from 16 will get 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 will get, but the order is not followed. Of course, 16 is coming first here. It's okay. So set comprehension is similar to the list comprehension. Only thing is the result what we get is a set because we are keeping it in the braces. So if you keep it in the braces, automatically it becomes set comprehension. If you keep it in square brackets, it becomes a list comprehension. The source can be anything here. The source can be anything. So from any collection, you can get any other collection. So that is how we create it, the set comprehension. So next we'll write some programs. We'll be writing programs by using this comprehension whenever it is required. Just initially we are discussing some concepts. Next we'll see the dictionary comprehension. So dictionary comprehension. Now suppose if I have a dictionary, L1, sorry, D1 equals to, I'll take some words 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. So here, what I want to do is I want to create a dictionary. Here key value is the word and corresponding value. So print D1. I have to create this. I'll execute this. So I'm getting this. Now I want to create one more dictionary with the keys remaining same. But I want the value should be square. So D2 equals to, I'll say D2 equals to, then like I have to say key, comma, val, key, comma, length, val into val for key val in D1. So this is a dictionary. So we'll see what is going to happen. So for, sorry. Okay, what I'll do is I'll take this. So D2 for key val in D1. I'll check. Sorry, here we have to give colon. That is the mistake. Now I think it will get it. So what is happening? So I'll give here. Okay, what I'll do here is some mistake here. I'll take for. Okay, understood now. Understood here. The problem is here. It takes items, so we have to take items. Now I think this is okay. So key value invalid syntax. Yeah, this is the syntax. So I'll print D2. So I'm getting it is actually it is taking tuple. So what I'll do is I'll remove this. It is taking a set. I'll remove this. Now we'll see what is going to happen. Key val. Yeah, it should be this one. Now I'll execute this. Now we'll get dictionary. So dictionary now we are getting. So here what was the problem is when I give here D1, it will take keys, but we are referring key value. So that is the problem. So we have to take here items. This is one important thing. So I'm creating it. Now I can also write, suppose if I take this as item, suppose if I take this as item. Now when I take this as item, okay, I'll rewrite this. So this is one execution. So I'm getting the result. So this is key value pair. So when it is dictionary, so I have to take these key colon value, and here the key value pair in items. Now slight modification to this, what I can do is I can say here I'll take, instead of this I'll take item. Item means it is a tuple. Now what I'll do is it is item 1. This way also we can write, I think. I did not check. We'll see. Item 1 0. Then this is item 0. I think this way also we can write. Now what happens? This item is taken as a tuple. So for print D3, D2. So I'll get same result. I'm getting same result here. Item, sorry, here item 1 into 1. Okay, now we'll see. So now we are getting same result here. What I am doing is items is key value pair. So I'm writing key value pair separately. I'm writing key value pair separately in a tuple. So I'm replacing with key, and value I'm replacing it with value into value. Now here this item is a tuple. This item is a tuple. Now tuple first element is key, second element is value. So key I'm retaining, value I'm saying item 1 into item 1. So this is how we build the dictionary comprehension. So now suppose if I want to create a dictionary with the length of the keys as value, with the length of the keys as value. So I can write this where the first syntax, anything I can write. I'll write here. So key, I'm not going to take value here. I'm not going to take value. I'll take length of key. Length of key is taken as a value for this particular dictionary. Then remaining things are same. So I'll take this now. So if I say print D3, then I'll get. So I'm getting the key as it is, length of the key as value I'm getting. So 1's length is 3, 2's length is 3, 3's length is 5, 4's length is 4, and 5's length is 4. So I'm getting a dictionary from another dictionary where I'm taking key and length of key. The same thing if I want to take this way also we can write. So depending upon whichever you feel convenient, we can use it. Here individual key value pair we are taking individually. Here key value pair is taken as a tuple with the name item, and tuple's first element is key, tuple's second element is value. Tuple's second element is value. So that is how we do it. Now suppose if I want to change the digit as key and this one as value, simply we can write one more here. I'll use this for that example. My requirement is I want to make key as value and value as key. So here items. So I'll take D4. D4. So what I can do is item 1 here and item 0 here. So I'm replacing key with value, value with key. So I'll execute this. So I'm interchanging key and value. So now print D4. So you can see it is now digits first, then corresponding words, digits and corresponding words. So this is the simple way you can interchange the key value pair. So key with the value, value with key, I'm doing it. So this is the list comprehension. We'll further do list comprehension. Dictionary comprehension. So we can do the combining, creating. I told you creating a dictionary using creating a dictionary using two lists. Two lists. So this is, I want to create a dictionary from two lists. So I'll go back to the state capitals which I have created. We'll see here. I think it is available here. So I have a list state capitals. I have a dictionary here, state capitals dictionary. So I'll take this. Or not this. So I have a state capitals dictionary here. This I'll print it. So print state capitals. So I'm getting it. Now I'll take states as one list, LST states. So I can do it with LST states equals to what we can do is list, then state capitals dot keys. So I'm getting this. I'll get this. I'll execute this. So print LST states. So now I have states. So I have states. Now I can also get the same states in another way using list comprehension. So I'll say LST states equals to LST state equals to key for key value in state capitals. It is actually somewhat lengthy, but I think I can say items. Simply, I'm writing this way, but it is not good. But I'll get it. So print LST states. So I'm getting it. Or instead of this, I'll take for key in state capitals. This way also I can write. So I'll get states. Now similarly I'll get the capitals. I'll get the capitals. So here instead of keys, I'll take values. So I'll get the capitals and here LST capitals. So print LST capitals. So I have states and capitals. I have a list of states and list of capitals. Now I have to create a dictionary. So now you can create a dictionary with creating a dictionary using two lists. So what I can do here is I'll use the comprehension. Comprehension, create the dictionary from two lists. So what I can do is I'll take D states caps equals to take this state capital or states I capitals I for I in range length ln of states. So this way also I can create. This is one way. So I'm using comprehension. So somewhere some mistake. So what it is states is not defined. Sorry, LST. I have to write LST states. So LST states. LST capitals for a range LST states. Yeah. So we can create a dictionary using comprehension from two lists. So print ST caps. I'm creating dictionary from two lists. So I'm creating dictionary. So we can create dictionary from list of tuples. We can create dictionary in traditional way. You can create dictionary from lists. Keys available as one list and values are available as second list. So I'm creating a dictionary from key list of keys and list of tuples using comprehension. But there is one more best and very simple way to create dictionary is actually a zip function. A zip function. So what is zip function? We'll see first. Then we'll see how to create dictionary from two lists using zip function. So there is a very useful function called zip function. So what zip does is it will allow you to run through multiple lists. List one, list two, it will allow you to run multiple lists. So zip function allows to run through multiple lists together. So this is zip function. You can use list one and list two. So first I'll take the simple logic here. So like I'll take zip zip function. So suppose if I take state capitals here, states, list of states and list of capitals. So if I want to run through it, so what I can do is for here, what I am doing for I in range, I'm writing that way. So if I want to run through list, two lists together for I in range, length of LST states, so then I can say print LST. I'll use one format here, print format. If I started with the F print format, I can use here. If I keep something within flower brackets, that will be taken as data. LST states I. So I'll close this. Then I'll say this is formatting, a better way of writing print statement. So LST capitals. Just I want to introduce here. It is very useful. You can. It's not capital I, is capital of this. So this I'm writing. Now if I execute this, what it is giving. Here one bracket I have to give. Bracket is missing. So now it says Amaravati is capital of AP, then Hyderabad is capital of Telangana. Here, one thing what you can observe is if I keep something inside flower brackets, if I start F here, started with F, if I keep something in flower brackets, that will be a variable. So it is replaced with value. LST capitals I is replaced with Amaravati. If I keep something outside it, it is as it is. Is capital is coming as it is. Now again, I am keeping this. This is considered as a variable. This is replaced with its value. So Amaravati is capital of AP, Hyderabad is capital of Telangana. That way it is displaying. This is one format I am using here. And this is a common way, but a better way is using zip. If I want to run through two lists, it is better is, so I can say for state and capital in, I'll say zip. So here LST capitals and LST, LST states, LST capitals. So I'll write this. This is how we write it. Now I'll say print. I need not use I and all now. Index is not required. So I'll say capital is capital of state. So this is this is how we can execute it. Sorry, here I have to say something mistake here. So I have to write brackets and so I'll take this. So this is more readable. So now it is class static method static. Why it has come state. So Amaravati is capital of AP. This is more readable. So I'm taking, I'm running through here. I'm using index, indexing, and I don't know what is the other variable I'm using. So I'm taking only one variable. So but here it takes one variable for states and another variable for capital. And I'm running through this two lists together using zip. So I'm writing this code in more readable form, understandable form. So that's why this is more efficient. ZIP is more efficient when I want to run through multiple lists together. Now, if I take the same comprehension, with the ZIP, we can modify it, but it is not actually the final version. So I can write the comprehension here. So I'll take escapes, some name, dictionary here. I'll take state and capital. So that is better, more readable. State. I don't require I and all. State capital. For state capital in not range, I'll use ZIP. LST states and LST capitals. So this is more readable, but we can write better than this. So we can write better than. If I modify that comprehension with ZIP, it is more readable. I'm getting the same result. So I'm creating the dictionary from two lists. I'm creating dictionary from two lists. This is a more readable form. But if I want to create a dictionary from more lists, we can do it in very simple way using ZIP, not comprehension. This is also comprehension. Now here the creating a dictionary from two lists using ZIP function. So what it is very simple. So I can say dictionary of state capitals, state caps equals to, simply I can say dict. I had to use dict ZIP states, LST states, comma LST capitals. So this is the fastest way of doing. So I'm getting the same result. So if I want to come, if I have some data available in the form of lists, I want to create a dictionary. This is the best way. So I have explored all possible ways. This is the best way. So to create it, simply dict ZIP, you can write it. So I'm getting the dictionary. So this is how we can combine two lists which are having each one list is having key, another list is having value. Then I can create a dictionary from two independent lists. Instead of comprehension, I can use ZIP function simply like this. So then I'll get the dictionary in a more efficient way. So this is so here when I combine the ZIP here, you can convert into whatever form I want. Here what I am doing, I am converting into dictionary. I am converting the ZIP into dictionary. Now I can also get a list of tuples. The same thing if I use ZIP. See, it is depending upon requirements. So flexible Python is. You can get whatever form of data you want. Now, instead of this, I'll go for here list. Then I'm combining these two lists into one list of tuples. So this is now list of tuples. States, capitals. It is not dictionary, it is list of tuples. So the same I'm doing it with ZIP. I'm not doing much changes. So instead of list, I'm giving their tuple, states, capitals. So I'm getting, see, I'm getting the list of tuples. So this is so flexible. From list of tuples, I'm getting dictionary. From dictionary, I'm getting list of tuples. From two lists, I'm getting list of tuples. From two lists, I'm getting dictionary. So it is so powerful. This is so powerful it is. Now here, one important thing is, now once I have this list of tuples. So when I take this list of tuples, when I say print, or to be more, okay, this is how we use the zip. Zip is very powerful and it is very flexible. One more thing is, suppose if I have something like I have list of suppose I'll take list. I have something like some student details I have. Suppose if I I have some student details. So I'm taking the roll number of the students, which is 1, 2, 3. Then I have the other details of the students, like name of the student. I have name of the student I have. Yeah, I'll take this. So roll number and name I have. Just to make it simple, I'll take this. So another list, what I have, another name is 2, 3, 4. Then name of the student, which is Rohit. Then then I have data this way. So 3, 4, 5. I have suppose Rahul. Then suppose 4, 5, 6. I have suppose something like what we say Bumrah. Now I have this. So this is a list of tuples. Now what it is containing? It is containing the roll number, name of the student. Roll number, name of the student. Now I want to get. See here some mistake. I have to say bracket here. I have to use bracket. I can get simply dictionary from this. So I can get dictionary from this. So suppose if I take student details, suppose details as dictionary. This we have seen. Simply take. Sorry, this I have to assign it to list of tuples. So I'll say LST or I'll say student data. I have this way. Now the student data, I want to convert into dictionary. Simply I can say student data. So I'll get dictionary. So I'll get dictionary here. This we have already seen. Print student details. So I'm getting dictionary. Now, okay, I don't want dictionary. I want roll number separately and name separately. So I have list of tuples. I want roll number separately and name separately. Then I can use zip for this also. So I can take names and first roll numbers, roles and names. I'll take equals to, you say zip. This is actually unzip, means getting the details. So this what I'll do is I'll say asterisk here, then student, what is that student, what is the name I have here, student data. So when I have a list of tuples and in the tuple, if multiple data items are there, I can unzip them. So now I'll get roll number separately. This is very powerful. So I'll say print roles. I'm getting roll numbers separately. So I'm getting roll number separately. Then I'm printing this name separately. See, this is ZIP is not only used to combine the data. Here, what I am doing, I am combining the data. Here, states one list, another list I am taking and combining into list. So I'm combining into list, then it becomes list of tuples. So this is I'm combining. If I want to, this is I can say zip. If I want to unzip, then same zip I have to use instead of asterisk simple data here. If I give asterisk, I'm getting back the unzipped information. So in the tuples, whatever I have, the tuples here, tuples have the name, roll number, key values are there. I want roll number separately and key separately. Instead of running using comprehension or a loop, I can use zip. So it will give me the roll number separately, name separately. If I have one more data, I can take one more and it will give me the one more data item there. So both packing the data, unpacking the data. So we can say this is packing data. I am taking individual data items here. Where did I do? Zip here. So creating dictionary from two lists. So here I am packing the data. So two lists I am packing into one list of tuples. Two lists I'm packing into one list of tuple. So for packing, I'm using zip, or for unpacking means I have a list of tuples. I want to unpack them into two different lists. So I'm using zip again, but I'm using there to unpack, I'm using asterisk. So zip is very flexible and very powerful to do this kind of operation, to pack and unpack data present in multiple lists. Then we can use packing. If I have packed data, I want to unpack into multiple lists, then I can use zip with the star. So zip is very powerful function to do this kind of activities. So Python has got so many powerful features. Now, whenever a question is given to you, a problem is given to you for solving using Python, you have to use the appropriate feature of Python. So you have to use appropriate features are there. So here we have to choose which one is better for what situation. So when I want to combine multiple lists, instead of running through multiple loops, I can simply use zip. So if I have multiple lists, I want to combine into dictionary, zip is very simple. I want to unpack the data, so zip is very simple. Instead of going for loops, you can use zip method to unpack the data. So this is how you have to build your program, because Python by default, as I told you, is not fast. It has speed problem. To overcome the speed problem, there are so many features that are there in Python. So we must make use of those features, the appropriate feature at appropriate time, to make the execution efficient and faster. So that's what very important in Python. So that's what I am telling repeatedly, that whenever a problem is given to solve, you have to think in Python way, not in C way, because C way we develop the logic from scratch, then the code becomes slow. So we have to consider the powerful features of Python which are suitable for that particular problem, and use those features to solve it. Use those features to solve the problem. So that's what we have to concentrate mainly. So that is the zip function, and we have used zip function, and we'll be taking some programs, and wherever it is required, we'll be using zip function. So there is one more enumerate function is there, but it is not as powerful as zip, or it is not used as frequently as zip, but it is also can be used. Enumerate, what it does is, Otherwise, I'll take the enumerate in the next class. So